Hi everyone, my name is Krishna Thakkar and thanks for clicking on this podcast, Glimpse of Ramayana. If you are wondering what you shall listen in the following minutes, it is the small unheard stories from Ramayana that never get space into the bigger picture, neither in the movies nor in the Ram Leela and sometimes not even in the over-lengthy modern-day TV serials with Ram and his six-pack abs. These tiny tales, however, define these characters and also help us gain dimension in our own lives. How so? Let's move on to know more. So what is Ramayana? Everybody knows Ramayana, be it a Hindu or a non-Hindu. Indians and quite a few foreigners know the basic story of Ramayana. 5,000 or 7,000 years ago, a man obeyed his stepmother, went to the jungle, his wife got kidnapped, and he saved his wife and killed a villain. That is it. That is Ramayana. My parents told me these stories, and I'm going to dutifully narrate them to my children. But why? What do these stories teach us? And why should we even listen to them? Any staunch follower, before getting offended, please realize that asking questions is the essence of religion. Asking is the quality of a seeker, and Lord Krishna has said that seeker will gain more in life than the preacher. So let's try and be seekers and let's ask ourselves, why? Why do we need to pass these stories down our generation? We see the staunch, narrow-minded followers of any religion and dread the entire religion as a whole. Or we see the non-believers and hate them for their choices. All the miseries in their lives are the result that they don't believe in the religious stories. But why do these stories matter? For that matter, why does any story matter? Look at the generation before us. So many people are inspired by the styles of Rajesh Khanna, then Amitabh Bachchan, then Shah Rukh Khan. How the 90s romantic films inspired an entire generation. Stories that revolve around us matter. They set us thinking, force us to change our perspectives, and then alter our behavior. Look at those 30-second advertisements. They dictate our behavior and our buying patterns. Isn't it? God, stories are powerful. They define us. They shape us. Then why not choose the right kind of stories to influence us? Let's go back to our story today, Ramayana. And my question, why is it relevant? Okay, let me begin first with, why should I call Ram the hero? This question was asked to me once while I was researching on this topic. So someone very cutely, innocently asked me, why should Ram be the hero? It was Hanuman who showed his might, burnt Lanka, Hanuman found out Sita. It was Lakshman who killed Meghnad. It was the Vanar Sena who killed the other soldiers. Why is Ram then the hero? I said, but Ram sacrificed everything for his father. He didn't look for anything. He just left and went to forest. But, she asked, so did Lakshman. And Bharat sacrificed too. If we talk about sacrifice, Hanuman has sacrificed nearly everything. So back to square one. Why is Ram the hero? Look around us. There are so many bosses, few leaders. Can leaders do everything? No. And I take a reference from myth for that. As Brahmaji said, he will never give one man all the good talents and skills that one can possess. Then why does the leader get the credit? Why does a leader go on the podium, launch the product, make the announcements and take the credit? And then he politely scuffs off saying, oh, it was my team's effort. Then why did he alone get the center stage? And why do some people act like magnets attracting the audience? I'm a good performer, but look at that performer. He gets all the crowd. Why? And what is leader without a good team? What is performer without his team? What was Ram without his team? Let's hear a small story that will help us answer this question. When Lakshman killed Meghnad, the Vanar Sena was dancing with joy. Here, my listeners, I am assuming that we know the characters Lakshman and Meghnad. and the fact that Meghnad tried to kill Lakshman, he was nearly successful. If Hanumanji wouldn't have brought the Sanjeevani booty, Meghnad would be the one celebrating. However, here the story is, Lakshman finally killed Ravan's son and everybody is dancing. The mightiest bow in Ravan's quiver had failed. Their victory looked inevitable. Hanuman was celebrating with the death of Meghnad. It was Meghnad who almost killed Lakshman. It was Meghnad because of whom Ram had lost hope in his life. Lakshman was moist-eyed. His brother had faced so much in life. Now finally, the victory looked near. The victory looked possible. "Let's chop his body into pieces," one Vanar said. "No, let him be the meal to the scavengers," someone else said. Hanuman, teary, began dancing around the dead body and said, "Our victory is certain. Let this body be chopped in a way that we can show Ravan who we are." Ideas were being thrown from here and there. This should be done. That should be done. When Ravan comes to know how his son was treated, he will break down. He will be scared and he will realize that no one should challenge the might of Ram. Furthermore, no one should believe that he can try to harass the woman and get away with it. How the dead body of Meghnad will be treated was the statement that is to be made. And the statement was that Ram has arrived. Suddenly, slowly and humbly, a voice spoke. "Lakshman cut Meghnad's head. It's on the other side of the battlefield. Let's join the head and the body first." That man does so. Then he bows down to the dead body and covers the dead body with a piece of cloth respectfully and says, "I know what we shall do with the dead body. We will pay our respects to the great warrior who fought for his father and gave up his life. And then we shall keep it on the outskirts of Lanka. We shall do so because this man wasn't our enemy. We respect his bravery and his duty for his father. More so, even if he was our enemy, I would still do the same." Needless to say, that was the voice of Ram. Hanuman was baffled. He dare not speak against his master. But how come? How could his master react like that? It's this straightforwardness of Ram that makes him so vulnerable. Everyone just walks all over him as if he's a carpet. Why? Why would someone do that? The Vanar Sena and even Lakshman was left wondering. You say that he did for his father. Agreed. But can you not hate him for what he did to your brother? What was Lakshman's fault? He did it, said Ram. He hurt my brother, not his dead body. We have a right to make a statement, someone argued. Or I should say, tried to argue. And that statement would be of love. Ram replied, His mother has done no harm to us. She deserves to shed a tear on her brave son's dead body who died fighting. We have no right to take away a mother's right to pay last respects to her son. We have killed her son. Isn't that statement enough? Poor Ravan, he must be half dead hearing the news. Why should we add to his miseries too? Ravan has a right to hug his son, to bid him a final goodbye. And what about the citizens of Lanka? He was their prince. They looked up to him for his protection, his bravery. And the way we treat him will determine how much will they respect him in the future. Saying so, Ram took some flowers, placed it on Meghnad's feet and bowed down. I am paying my respects to a prince, so that his citizens will also do the same. He paid respects and the Vanar Sena followed. Meghnad's dead body was respectfully kept at the gates of Lanka. And Ravan wept at his son's dead body and swore he will avenge his son's death. Ram will soon die at the hands of Ravan. So this was the story I was so relieved to find and finally answer the question that someone asked me. Why is Ram the hero? We all have faced problems in our lives. We all have seen miseries. We all have some enemies, hidden or out in the open. But our failures, our miseries don't define us. Our jobs, our well paid salaries do not necessarily mean we are successful. Yeah, materially, maybe we are. We are also happy that we reached a place. But does it still define what we are? Are we so called a good person or no? What will define our personality is not the adversities, it is not the successes, but how we react to them. Ravan had immeasurable success. And how did he react to that success? With arrogance, with overconfidence. Ram faced failures in his life. Who would like to even talk to a person who owns nothing, who goes from forest to forest living on grass and roots for 14 years? Definitely a failure. And yet, if we look at the story, we call Ram the hero and not Ravan. Surprisingly, even in today's times, these small anecdotes and stories have influenced how we still maintain our international relations. In the 1999 Kargil War, when the Pakistani soldiers died, the Indian army respectfully put their body in the coffins and placed it at the border of Pakistan to collect them. Owing to the international pressure, when Pakistan refused to collect these bodies, forget collecting, they refused to even identify them. These bodies were then humbly brought back to India. Their coffins were wrapped in Pakistani flags, and since they were soldiers who died and not civilians, there were a round of gunshots in their respect. They were given their due respect and cremated with proper Islamic rituals. This is the influence the stories can cause. This is the influence that Ram's one small kindness caused. And that is why these stories that define us need to be rightfully given to our next generation. But the question again, if you are respecting someone's dead body so much, why fight in the first place? Wouldn't it be better if Meghnad was alive, for his parents, for the kingdom? Of course. Then why did Lakshman have to kill Meghnad? Battles sometimes are inevitable, as peace is only there when there is justice. If there is injustice and the victim keeps quiet, even for the sake of peace, isn't it acting like a coward? Today, you're keeping quiet against injustice. Will injustice not try and keep raising its ugly head again and again till it is addressed? It will keep on rising till someone agrees to take the risk and face it. So this small beautiful story gave me so many answers. We always praise Ram for his bravery. So was Meghnad. He was brave too. We praise Ram for his obedience to Kaikai. So was Meghnad. He was obedient to Ravan too. And yet, Ram is the hero. It's not where we reach, but it's how we reach that defines if we are a hero or not. And I'm so glad that I presented this small story to you. If you have liked this podcast and wish to send me a cheering note or wish to drop in your feedback, requests, please pop an email on krishnathakkar61@gmail.com. I repeat, Krishna, KRISHNA, THAKKAR 61@gmail.com. Stay tuned for many more such stories based on our mythology, small little tiny stories that help us give a new meaning. Till then, have a happy day. Bye-bye.